Welcome to the TheDPost for All Seasons Sports Show. I'm sports editor Drew Rubenstein with publisher Dave Racy. And Dave will talk about the WVU football team and kind of where they're at this point of the season. When you look back at the beginning of the year, I don't think anybody expected the Mountaineers to be a Big 12 title contender by any stretch. But they're 3-5 at this point. What they've experienced, is it just growing pains of kind of reestablishing the program in the Big 12, or the fact that they've now lost 3 games this season by 21 plus points point to something bigger?
Well, I think some of it's growing pains. I think a lot of programs, when they take over from a previous coach, their first recruiting year's not really full, and we've had a lot of changeover in our assistant coaches. I was thinking that today, that hurts your recruiting when you don't have coaches who've been recruiting an area for 10 years and have all these connections. And even in the Big 12, they've had to recruit maybe in places like Texas a little bit more than before, where we were in the Big East, where we could sort of stay in our own neighborhood. So I think they have some of that going on. Just the thing you want to look at now is how they respond to all this. Can they get out of this tailspin? And that's going to be the challenge for the coaching staff and the players, to see if they can come up with another win like at Oklahoma, when they beat Oklahoma State.
You mentioned recruiting, and one thing that pops in my head is I talk to Don Nealon before every single football season and kind of get his take on the Mountaineers and other teams. And the first thing he always examines is a team's starting quarterback, and he buys into the philosophy: if you have a good one, your team has a chance to win, and if you don't, then you're going to probably struggle a bit. WVU has obviously not found somebody that they're comfortable under center. Is that how much does that factor into what's happened?
Oh, I think a lot has. I think the red flag was when Trickett was taken, because he had 2 guys coming back that they recruited that I thought they were confident in, and Millar didn't get to play much last year. One game with him, Oklahoma State, he came on a 4th down through a touchdown pass. I thought, wow, that's pretty good, to come in. And with Coach Holgerson's reputation for developing quarterbacks, like the Weed boy at Oklahoma State, who was a baseball player and then came back and he had a great career at Oklahoma State, or maybe it was 1 year. So I don't think anybody anticipated a problem there until they accepted the transfer, and then you're thinking, like, well, why would you do that if you have 2 kids already there? So that's what sort of got me thinking that maybe they had a problem there. And obviously they're still not satisfied and settled there yet, and I don't know what they can do with that position right now, because there seems to be a lot of uncertainty there, and that's definitely a problem, I think.
When you also, I was just doing some research, and WVU's 5-11 over its last 16 games. I was trying to find the last time they went through that rough of a stretch, and it took me back to 1986 and 87. Don Nealon had been there quite a few years at that point, and WVU went something like 3-10 over a 13-game stretch that preceded Major Harris coming into his form and then taking WVU to new levels. But do you see, I guess going back there a little bit, do you see any similarities to what's happening right now? And is it just a matter of waiting for that next quarterback to emerge?
Well, I think, we talked that might be it. Good quarterback makes a lot of coaches look smart, and then, bad quarterbacking can make a lot of them look dumb and stuff. But, I don't know if they have anybody like a Major Harris or a Pat White on the roster right now, or in camp, that can be that kind of dynamic quarterback that will just send shivers through defenses. And right now we've got 3 quarterbacks right now that have not really established themselves as owning this offense, and I don't know what can be done about it right now. And it's going to be maybe more difficult now to even go out and recruit a quarterback when you haven't had the success after Gino left. And right now you've got a problem. You've got 3 guys who are in the program right now, so it's pretty crowded.
Is it surprising to you, because Dana Holgerson's offense is considered to be a system, and the fact that this is now his 3rd season, and that he hasn't either, 1, been able to bring in a quarterback that has been able to keep things going like he has in the past, or 2, develop somebody?
Yeah, I would have to think that you would think that. I mean, you would think that he had 2 years of Gino and put up those numbers, and you would think that he had someone groomed and ready to go. And I'm a little bit surprised that, and I'm sure a lot of our, even Coach Holgerson might be surprised that, no one's come through. I thought that they were pretty well set there, quarterback, from the recruits they had.
Last one for you, Dave. WVU sitting at 3-5, has to win 3 of its last 4 games to keep that bowl streak alive to a 12th year. You mentioned how WVU is going to be remembered is how they're going to respond from here on out. What does West Virginia need to do for this season to be considered a success?
Well, right now it's to get to a bowl game. I think that's all is, right now I think people would be very happy. Maybe if they could beat Texas, that would be a great triumph at home and things like that. But it's going to be a tough road because they're just not playing real well right now, to be honest. And any team they play, even Kansas and Iowa State, I think will be challenges.
Absolutely. Dave, appreciate your time. Please continue to check TheDPost.com for all the latest on the Mountaineers. Thanks for watching today.